Look at this flowchart. We are tracking what happens when a government decides to sell off one of its state-owned enterprises to the open market. The big question mark here represents the primary motive behind this shift. In a recent Cambridge Paper 1 exam, students were asked to identify that exact motive: to create greater income inequality, to extend government control, to increase efficiency of production, or to take account of external costs. The correct answer is efficiency. Private firms face a stark reality. If they fail to cover their costs, they go bankrupt. This creates a powerful profit motive that forces them to operate efficiently. Privatization is a survival-driven race. Firms either cut waste and improve production, or they fail. To score full marks on a standard 2-mark Paper 2 definition, you have to be extremely precise about how that shift happens. First, you establish the action. Privatization is the sale or transfer of economic assets in firms. Think of these geometric blocks as the factories, resources, or companies being sold. Second, you must state the exact direction of that transfer. The movement must be from the public sector, the government, over to the private sector, which is owned by individuals and shareholders. Memorizing that strict directional transfer from public to private is the baseline requirement for analyzing any real-world privatization policy. Cambridge frequently tests your ability to explain the underlying differences between these two sectors. The private sector is owned by individuals and firms. Their decisions carry the heavy weight of self-interest, driven to maximize profits. The public sector balances that out. Owned by the government, its decisions prioritize maximizing overall welfare and managing external costs like pollution. The entire economic impact of selling a state-owned asset comes down to this shift. The primary operating motive changes from social welfare to pure profit. Now let's look at a 4-mark challenge, explaining 2 specific reasons why a government would choose to make that switch and privatize an industry. Pause the video right here. Use the profit versus welfare motives we just covered to predict 2 main reasons a government would sell an industry. The first reason is to increase efficiency. Introducing the profit motive incentivizes private firms to reduce production costs and raise productivity. The second reason is raising revenue. Selling a major state asset generates cash for the government to fund critical public goods like education. Alternatively, the government might simply want to stop the bleeding. If a state industry is operating at a massive loss, privatizing it removes the financial burden from the taxpayer. Selling state assets serves 2 main purposes. It forces an industry to boost productivity, and it gives the government a practical way to balance its books. Let's apply this to a complex 6-mark evaluation question. You might be asked to discuss whether privatization benefits consumers in a specific economy, like Montenegro. Notice the key word, consumers. A common exam pitfall here is discussing how the sale helps the government's budget deficit. That earns 0 marks. Every point you make must tie directly to consumer choice, product quality, or market prices. On the benefit side, profit-driven firms invest in research, raising quality and pulling prices down. Competition gives consumers wider choices. But without government subsidies, prices can spike. Profit-maximizing monopolies could restrict supply and push prices higher, making goods unaffordable. Additionally, these private monopolies might ignore external costs, like the pollution generated by their factories, which damages overall consumer welfare. For consumers, privatization offers the benefits of rapid innovation and lower prices through competition, but it carries the severe risk of extortionate pricing if a private monopoly takes control. Before we wrap up, be careful to avoid the most common terminology mistake reported by Cambridge examiners, confusing public limited companies with the public sector. Despite the word public in the name, a public limited company, or PLC, issues shares on the stock market. It operates entirely within the private sector, alongside private limited companies. Neither of these are owned by the government. To support that journey further, connect with Fundoo Tutor for expert one-to-one guidance tailored to your child's learning needs. Mastering these logical bridges and algebraic shortcuts is what transforms a standard exam performance into an A-star result.